What's up, YouTube? Pastor Bob. Well, this will be the last guitar of the purchases that I made from Diamond Guitars. This one here is Electric Blue LT series. It's pretty nice. I got this slip over here. Hold on one second. So this here is a Barchetta LT electric guitar. That's all it says. By Diamond. Dual humbucker, 3-way toggle switches, which is kind of different that they put it over here. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but definitely different. It's got the dual cutouts. Contoured. Looks pretty nice. It's okay. A few scratches in it, but probably from where. The light hair scratches from where they didn't do a final buffing. Somebody was in a rush. Must have been a Friday guitar. Tone and volume. They seem okay. String through body. I'm not sure what that is. It looks like grains, but I don't know if that's rich light. Yeah. No, I don't think that's rich light. I think that might be Purple Heart. I could be wrong, but let's do the frets. Oh, the frets ain't bad. A little sharp up here. Little fret sprout. You can see it right there. Nothing that we can't handle, right? Diamond inlays. Let me put it up here. See a headstock. I believe these come with a tusk nut on them. Mostly all of them did. 4-bolt neck construction, maple neck. Proprietary machine heads. Now this has a scarf joint. Some people freak out about scarf joints, but let me explain a little bit to you about a scarf joint. Your neck is going to be stronger with a scarf joint than without a scarf joint. Now, there ain't no argument about that because most of your guitar builders and luthiers will tell you that that is going to be stronger. Plain and simple. People can argue the point if they want. I don't really care to listen because I'm telling you right now, from all of my experience in the years of me doing it, I've noticed that scarf joints are stronger. Now, if they don't clean that scarf joint properly, or they get any kind of oils on it or anything like that, or, you got a bad glue, well, then anything can pop. But generally speaking, they're stronger. Otherwise, it's kind of a different thing there. The different color scheme. You could definitely see that scarf joint. There was no color match involved in that. Outside of that, these generally just have a standard. I'll take it off. Just for you guys to see it. Doing this one hand. Imagine that, huh? Take a peek in there. Probably just got some Korean 500K pots, but I'm not sure, so we're going to take a peek, right? That way everybody can see it. Now on the Boleros, pretty much all the same, but I'm not sure about these, so we'll just take that off. Ah, suck it in there good. Oh, yeah, she's a tight fit, guys. She is a tight fit. Wow. Nope, we got minis. Well, that's quite the different three-way selector switch, huh? What's that old style? I don't know how well that will hold up. We'll have to see. Yeah, it's got minis in there. If we got enough room to put. I don't know if we have enough room in there to put 500K pots in there. I don't know, we'll see. Back here you probably can. I have to probably bore that out a little bit to get it out. I probably have to. That'd be kind of tricky there. But I may be able to. We'll see. What the heck that was? Piece of chum there. Looks like it's all shielded in there though. I'm not a fan of the mini potentiometers, to be honest with you, but you know what? There's an old saying, don't knock it till you try it, right? So, I do like the fact that that's pretty tight, though. Now, just because I don't like something doesn't mean that it's bad, right? Doesn't mean that it won't work. Just means that, well, I've seen more trouble brewing with them than not. So, I'm just letting you guys know ahead of time. I noticed that the sweeps go bad in them quick, so, from my experience. But, we'll see. I think probably if I'll go through see how the pickups sound and everything in a different video. And if they sound like crap, then I'll change those out. And if I change those out, then I'll probably bore that pocket out a little wider. And then put either CTS or Burns pots. Of course, it's going to sell for more if I have to do all of that. But, you know, it'd probably be worth it. Otherwise, we'll have to see. Let's take a look at the action on this baby. Oh yeah, she's a high roller. Needs a setup. Outside of that, frets need to be adjusted. And it's got a little sprout, like I said, up in here. I have to rocker it and see if I have any high frets. And if that's the case, hopefully, you know, it's not. But if it is, then I can either address them individually, or I can level them and recrown them, buff them out, knock them nibs off a little bit. Otherwise, hey, what do you want? I don't know, these selling for like, let's see. Alright, so there is what it is, and there's the price I paid. So you guys know that's exactly what I paid for this guitar, which I thought was a great deal for Bones. I mean, you can't even pick up a Firefly for that, right? So, you know, even if you got to do a little work, even if the pickup sounded like crap and you wanted to change it, because most people are going to change stuff, but maybe they do sound good. I don't know. You know, two potentiometers. If you wanted to throw a switch in there, you could. So you're talking probably $40 here. And that, you can buy a nice set of pickups for anywhere from $50 to $100. I mean, they don't have to say Seymour Duncan on them, right? You could buy a nice set of Wilkinsons for around $50, another 40. So for probably 100 with a new set of strings, and if you have the tools to do that, you're into it, less than $250. Psh, please, come on. That's a good deal. I mean, you can't go wrong for that, right? You could probably hot rod this right out, even if you wanted to change. If you wanted to change the machine heads, which I don't see anything wrong with them. So for a total investment, if you change the machine heads, change the pickups out to Wilkinsons, change these two potentiometers out, you'd have to bore the inside out a little bit, to compensate for the capacitors. I mean, for the potentiometers. And if you're going to run a bigger capacitor, maybe. And then for your three-way toggle switch. And of course, your wire. But you can buy a Korean set, probably, of potentiometers with the three-way switch. Probably for around less than $30 for the whole thing. $40 maybe at the most, which they make good quality stuff. And like I said, you can pick up a set of, Wilkinson humbuckers from $50 to $60, and they make good stuff. They're double wax potted set of strings. So for under $300, you'd have a rocking machine. I think these have a poplar body. I believe that's what I read. But that doesn't matter. That's pretty much an industry standard. But yeah, nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. Now I'm going to tell you something. You see how thick that fretboard is? There's something good about that. And let me explain what that is. So, if you ever want to change the frets, right? Whether you wanted to go with a different type of fret, a higher fret or a wider fret, or if you wore these out and you decided to change them, that's great. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you ever have to resurface it, you got a lot of meat there to resurface that fretboard. Plus, it gives you more stability in your neck from twisting. If there was, ever a problem with the neck and it wasn't dried out properly. It also helps to prevent the truss rod from popping in most cases. So having a thicker fretboard, definitely a plus. Yeah. So that's the pluses. Downside, well, these are not high dollar pickups, and how I can tell is by, if you look at them slugs, right? They don't look like high quality slugs. But, it is what it is. You got to cut costs somewhere if you want to sell a guitar for inexpensive. I think these regularly sell for like a couple $100 anyway. Like 200 to $249, I think, is a regular retail price. So getting it at this price and doing your upgrades, I mean, come on. That's a winner, chicken dinner. Now you gotta be handy. You know what you're doing, doing the setups and doing your frets. You can watch 10,000 videos on people doing this stuff, but when you actually do it, it's a whole different monster. It's not. It's not as easy as it looks. I don't care what they tell you. All right? You got to pay attention. You got to be patient. It's like when I was doing this guitar. And I built this, because I built this guitar, right? If you look at them frets, they're nice. Right? Look at them babies. Takes a long time to ball them babies over and make them nice. But how you do that is you measure out first, you cut your tang ends, right? And then you ball them over before you set them. It's much easier to do it that way than to just, put all your frets in, and then you got to do it. And then you have a chance of running into your binding, and then you have a chance of running into your fretboard. It's much easier to pre-cut each one, cut your tang out, round them over, then set them. That's the best way to do them when you're doing them, guys. You can take a peek at that. Baby, it's ready to rock and roll. Low and let's go. This is a this is a great playing guitar. Yeah. I cut a there's my logo. I cut a brass truss rod cover for that. I'm not fond of these machine heads. I don't know, maybe I just got a bad batch. I'm not fond of them. I'm going to change them out. Put something different in there. I did some relicking on this one. I'm pretty proud of it. It's a pretty good machine. I made it look rough. But I built it, I mean, I've been working on this one and the other one for a year. I was playing it. I got some little fine tuning, but if you notice, I have red binding going around one side and white binding going around the other side. But on the neck, there's red binding going up this side, white going up that side. Yeah, something a little different. I like it. Took me a long time to build it. But there ain't another one like it, I can tell you that. I hand painted everything myself, too. Of course, I did everything myself. Trying to get it so that it bled out and all that. That's not easy. Given the color like that, if you look, it looks... See how it looks like it's faded by the sun? But it's not. That's how I did it. It's tricky. But anyway, has nothing to do with this one. And this will be my new workstation. I'm getting it all together. I don't know if you guys see my video, but I built this desk. I'm fine tuning it. I got these drawer slides in. I used some cigar boxes. What I like about it is there's a little latch underneath. If I wanted to take the whole thing out, I can. I still got to do that side over there. But yeah, it's coming out pretty good. And I got this, which is a piece of vinyl. Red vinyl. And I was going to do the top with red vinyl. And then I decided to put this Lexian on there. In case I want to do setups and stuff like that up here. And then you got to have all the essential, candies and cookies and stuff. Actually, that's not what it is. I just like snacks. Anyway, so I'll probably do an amplifier with this. Because it wasn't cheap. It's really nice stuff. So, anyway. So what do I think of the diamond guitars after buying 5 of them? Well, I think for the price and the blowout price, it's a good deal. Do I think that you're going to see these kinds of deals again again in the future? Probably not. Once these are gone, they're gone. You know, I think that, like I said in another video, I think that Cortec will be building their next ones because where they're going to have it is pretty much the same guys that build, PRS and LTD guitars and stuff over in Indonesia. So, the cost is going to be there. Especially if they're going to, want to bring their line up to the same type of standards as PRS. If you're going to compete with them, well, then you got to have the right parts, right? And the right sound. It's one of those tricky markets, right? Especially with so many guitar builders. So, right now, is it a good deal? Absolutely. I don't see a problem with it. In the future, well, we'll see what they do. We'll see what type of standards they come out with, type of pickups and everything. If you address the things that I was talking about with this guitar, if you put Wilkinson, put some CTS pots with an orange drop capacitor, Switchcraft input jack and a Switchcraft 3-way toggle switch, a Tuss nut with some really good machine heads, maybe some Grovers, mini Grovers or something. Maybe, I don't know, stainless steel frets. Now you're talking. Now you're talking my language. I think these would be nice. Instead of doing a bolt-on, make it a glue-in neck. Yeah, now we're talking. $500-$600. If they sold them for $500 or $600, they'd sell them all day long. With those appointments. Not a problem. Not really a fan of the color. I'm more of a red guy than I am a blue guy anyway, but yeah, what's wrong with that? That's what I'd do. If you're gonna build a guitar and you're gonna compete with guys like Paul E. Smith and LTD, which, they make great guitars. Why? Because they put a lot of time and effort into the engineering of the guitar and, the pickups, potentiometers, caps, type of wiring you're using. It's not all the same. And if you want a good quality guitar and you don't want to dicker around with it out of the box, you're going to pay the price. That's just the way it is. You want it cheap? Well, you're going to have to put a little bit of effort into it. And that's just the way it is. It's the way it is. Some people might say, right now, I think this is a great buy. Even compared to a Firefly. Hands down. I don't think there's any issues with that. Now, if this guitar was $200 and I was going up against a Firefly, I would say no. Not with the quality that they're putting out today. There's no comparison. And that's just because I own a lot of them. I own a lot of guitars in general, right? I mean, I own, somewhere around 130 guitars. And I have more to build and fix. So, it's not coming from a guy who says he does something and doesn't, or says he is something and isn't. I'm the real deal, Doing this for too many years. I have no reason to lie to anybody. It's just the way it is. Some people, they go out there and they say something about a company or a guitar, and maybe they're trying to make money. Maybe they're trying to bring in crowds. I don't know. I don't really care about any of that junk, to be honest with you. I just care about giving you a good, solid review about a guitar that, I purchased. That's mine. I don't do a whole lot of resale anymore. Once in a while, if I pick up something like this, man, maybe I'll hot rod it out a little bit. And that way people ain't got to mess around with it or get them all decked out. And that way all they got to do is pick it out of the box and play it. Ready to rock and roll. Otherwise, I just buy them for my collection. It's just the way it is. So I don't make anything. I don't earn anything. Ain't nobody paying me anything to do my reviews. That's why I do them the way I do them. Do I think there's a necessity in measuring what the nut width is and, what the heel joint is and the thickness of the heel joint and the contour of the heel joint and how many lines are in the back of the neck and is it flame maple, is it not flame maple? I mean, look, if you have nothing better to do with your time and check all those measurements, hey, go for it. If that's your, evening thing is watching somebody make measurements and thickness and doing all that goobly gob, fine. You want somebody taking out your pickups to see what the wiring is and see what the cavity looks like? Look, every time you take these screws out, you're opening it up, right? Now, I think if you was going to buy a bunch of them, and buy a collection of them, maybe you might want to do that to one of them. But, when you take these screws out, a couple things can happen. And you can tell on one of my other videos, just to prove a point. You could crack and chip this paint. You could get a runner line. And then, the more times you put a screw or a nut into any kind of component, right? You'll work in the holes. Now, can you fix that? Sure, you can. I mean, it's not that hard of a thing to fix. Put a little glue down in there with a toothpick. Bust it off, let it dry a while. Put your screws back down in there. But that's not the point. The point is, don't overwork things. Don't take things apart unless you really need to. If it's not working right, yeah, take it apart. Absolutely. If you're selling something, I could understand, you want to check something if it's not working, but if everything's working properly, then send it out the door, right? Otherwise, don't open yourself up for a headache. It's just like taking them, your neck joint bolts out. When you take these out, right, you're moving it in and out of that wood, right? That maple heel joint. That's not good, because after a while, it'll loosen it up. Now, do I think once or twice, if you was just going to if you needed to, put a wedge underneath the back of it, and raise it up a little bit. I could understand that, if you can't get what you need out of this, but that's not the case with this. It's just, I don't see a lot of people telling people about that stuff, and that is important, and it's, it's, from my point of view, when I build a guitar, right, I take things apart the least I need to, right? Serious. The least you need to take something apart, the better off you are. The more you dicker around with it, the more likely you are you're going to chip your paint, scratch something, wear out your hole. Guys, don't do it if you don't have to do it. Now, if you don't like the pickups, you got to change them out. I understand that. But you should look down in there if you are taking your pickups out afterwards and see if you have any tear out in those holes. And if you do, well, you could easily just, like I said, put a toothpick down in there, tape off your areas. You can put a little glue on the end of a toothpick, bang it down in there, and just cut them off. And then all you gotta do is screw your screws right back down in the same hole. Just take a, I don't know, anything with a small point on it. Make yourself a little reference hole. So it goes right back down to the same hole. But you got to pay attention to that stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old. Maybe what I'm telling people, they might not like to hear, but I mean, I just see a lot of it. You know what I see sometimes is these buttons, right? For your guitar straps. I have seen these babies just spin around in circles because when they put them in, they over torque them, right? And if you're putting it into wood that's not a hard wood and it's a soft wood, it'll easily strip out. And then what do? Then you either got to fill it or put some epoxy down in there and put your screw back in there. Then if you want to change it out, oh man, that's going to be a nightmare. So, those things I do check. I check to make sure that it's tight. I don't try to torque it down until I can bust it, but just so that I know that when I put a strap on there, it ain't going to come off. So, anyways, guys, I know it's probably a boring old video, and I talked too much, and I said a few things that maybe people don't agree with, but them are just the things that I've seen over the years. It's not a motivational video, it's a video about a guitar that I bought. And in the end, yeah, great bones. Great bones for the price. You can't beat it if you're a handy guy and you got a few tools and you're not nervous and you know how to do it. Well, you're not afraid to do it and take your time. Hey, nothing wrong with it. But if you're going to flip them, right, and you want to make it a rock machine, yeah, Wilkinson, put a set of Burns or CTS pots in here if you really want to go. Switchcraft switch and input jack. Yeah, that's the way I'd do it. If you want to go balls to the walls. But you got to make sure that, you're going to recoup your money. That's the thing. I think, you got to be reasonable with something. Well, if it's for your personal use, yeah, nothing wrong with that. If it's for resale value, and you're going to flip some, and you want to do the upgrade appointments, you got to be reasonable. Put good stuff in there, but, don't get in over your head. Because, your time is worth something. Nobody works for nothing, for free. I mean, some people think that it's supposed to be free, I guess. I'm sorry, it's not the way it works. Alright, guys, well, take care. God bless. Like I said, if you can, get yourself over there and pick yourself up one if you got some time. You just want to dill around and, make yourself a hot rod guitar. At this price, it's a no-brainer. No-brainer. Alright, guys, take care. Pastor Bob, I'm out of here. See ya.